seen. But he did tell me to tell you guys he's actually older than me. I didn't know that worked, but it is. Here he is. Please give it up for Colin Smith.
Thanks, Wapik. Keep it going for Wapik, everyone. All right. As Wapik said, I know that I am older than I look. People don't believe me when I tell them I'm 67 inches tall. No, but I'm older than Wapik. He's 56. I'm 58. That means I get the seniors discount at a lot of places. And you know, I love getting the seniors discount. The only thing I love more than getting the seniors discount is getting carded for the seniors discount. It makes you feel like I'm 19 again. Now, the other day I was at Denny's. Those of you who go to Denny's know the back page is the seniors menu. I ordered my breakfast. The young lady who's serving me flatters me and says, "Sir, I'm going to need to see some proof of age." So I pulled out my wallet. I was reaching for my ID, and my Blockbuster card fell out. And she said, "That'll do." As you get older, you start thinking about the way things used to be, like when Blockbusters existed. I don't know why I still have that card, but I guess it's funny. But I remember a payday, right? I'd actually get a physical check. I'd walk to the bank. I'd cash it, deposit some of it, and have like $20 in my pocket. And I'd go to the grocery store. You guys buy groceries lately? It's getting ridiculous. So I'd cash my check and have $20 in my pocket. I'd go to the grocery store and I could walk out with enough food for the week. You can't do that anymore. They have cameras everywhere. They need to turn those things off, right? Am I right? Turn those cameras off. Right. The other thing too, as you get older, you start thinking about the meaning of life. Like, why are we here? So the other day I was thinking, what if the only reason we are here is as reproductive vessels for sperm? It's a thinker. Think about it. Like, without us, they can't reproduce, and maybe that's the only reason we're here is that. Okay, maybe I shouldn't think too much about the meaning of life. But again, as you get older, you get more reps, you've done things more often, you get experience points. So for instance, everyone's been talking about how long they've been together with their wives, etc. My wife and I have been together 37 years. Okay? That's why you don't applaud me, applaud her, she's not here. It's all on her. Those of you who know her, she puts up with a lot. But people ask, how do you stay together so long? And I like to think it's respect and compromise, right? So here's an example. My wife feels that pornography is cheating. So out of respect and love for her, ladies, are you listening? Ladies, when we hook up, cameras off. We can't be making pornography. Right. So again, as you get older, you start thinking about your health. We heard Wapik talking about it. We heard Hamilton talking about it. I have a next door neighbor, he's a little bit older than me, and we were talking, he says, "Colin, one of the things they don't tell you as you get older is that you might suffer from something called ED. So for you young people, that's not an eating disorder. Right? For you older guys, you know, that's erectile dysfunction. Anyone out there suffering from erectile dysfunction? Right? So I was really concerned, right? So I went to see my doctor, Hamilton, I have a doctor, right? And I told her, and she said, "Colin, I'm glad you came to see me because there's some good news. Erectile dysfunction is manageable and potentially totally avoidable through diet and exercise." And it was a big relief. I said, "Doctor, that's great. Now, how do I get my wife to diet and exercise?" I'm just kidding. My wife takes really good care of herself. It was me that had to diet and exercise. And so, she said, start with the diet, exercise will come later. So I really had to think about my relationship with food. For me, it was really mental. So, for instance, I used to think that my dryer made my clothes tight. It turns out it was my refrigerator. Okay. I tried multiple diets. I couldn't get enough food with just one. I tried something called intermittent fasting, or as my wife likes to call it, sleeping in and missing breakfast. Okay. But over time, it started to work. Then I joined a gym, got a senior's discount, right? And tried to get in shape. Here's a shape, right? But anyway, it started to work. I looked better. I lost over 60 pounds. I went from XL to medium. Still working on it, thank you. Good days and bad days, right? But as the weight started to come off, people started asking me if I was on Ozempic. And I don't understand this new craze with drugs for weight loss, right? We've had that for decades. It's called heroin, right? Have you ever met an obese heroin addict? No, right? Even their dealers are in on it. When you see your dealer, what's the first thing he does, right? He pulls out a scale for you, right? So, and I bet heroin addicts even have, low blood pressure and low cholesterol. Right. So, so here's how Ozempic works, if you don't know. In Canada, it's $500, depending on your dosage, for a month. And that month, you can't afford groceries. Very simple. Okay. So my time's almost up, so I'll tell you a little bit more about me, and then I'll say bye. I work from home, and my wife was out of town the other day, and I was working and knocked at the door. So I went open the door, and it was one of her friends. And I said, Anne's not here. She said, yeah, I know. I texted her, and she said, you'd help me out with a one-night stand. So a little awkward, a little confused. So here's the thing. I didn't know my wife was selling bedroom furniture. Okay? So she bursts right past me, goes upstairs, and says, let's see what you have in the bedroom. So I follow her up the stairs as persons wander into my house. And as I get there, she's sitting on the bed and she says, nice, hardwood. And I say, well, diet and exercise. And then she says, how does $50 sound? And I said, well, maybe, but you have to turn your camera off. And is that the senior discount? Thanks, that's my time.